Hey everybody, welcome back. Sorry that I took so long between episodes, but had a few things that I needed to get done, and sorry to leave you all high and dry, but either way, we're in a situation where we need to talk to Rose for a little while. Now, if you just talk to her
I
regularly,
would like a moment to myself.
the only way we can actually get anything done is to go ahead and use regression on her.
Rose, I don't understand what Cordelia wanted me to learn by this, but I need to try. Would you give me permission to look into your memories?
Oh, my dear.
I won't push you if you don't want me to, but I need to know this, Rose. I might be able to make you remember exactly what he told you. Wouldn't you want to remember that?
Sometimes, yes. But there are some memories better left alone. I will let you, but if I say stop, please stop.
I promise.
Now, one thing I realized I didn't do in the last video was actually, talk about, let's see. Yeah, I remember I wrote this too, but this is just basically the tutorial for regression. So this is a lot like the Robert regression puzzle, except we did a lot of, we took a lot of the feedback that we took from episode 1. People liked the concept, but people didn't also like running around, needing to go to the graveyard to get stuff, needing to feed Robert. So we just cut a lot of that out, and we just did the same type of puzzle, but not having to do a lot of that. That said, instead of having these little panels down here and you would switch between them, you actually see all of these panels if you zoom in, and you can click through these normally like you did in the first regression, but you can also just exit out and kind of just look around.
A temple. I wonder what religion it belongs to.
So, for example, this particular panel, you can't actually zoom into. You can't zoom into it, but it does give you pertinent information. But this one runs a lot smoother than the other one, and I think some people appreciate that this is a little bit different from what we did before. But this one's also a lot more complicated in sense of a puzzle, instead of not having to run around the all of Boston. This is actually more complicated. But one thing I wanted to do is show you what I meant by sequence skipping, because I sort of realized that I didn't. Oh, this is the only one you can. Oh, I forgot you can't actually look at most of this stuff here right now. I think if I...
It was given to Rose by the temple priest.
You might be able
It was
to...
given to...
No, I can't do that. Oh, yeah, I can. So what I'm showing you is, if you pay attention to the fog, if I try to skip through something, you may see that it's actually kind of speeding up quickly. What's going on here is that there were some dialogue and certain actions in episode 1, and actually all of the previous episodes, where we had to make things non-skippable. We wouldn't let you skip things, and that kind of inflated the length of the game.
Rose was reading a book.
Like that. So what we did was we actually put in something where you can actually just fast forward through all these sequences, and you can see it visually too. You'll see this mist if I click through this this dialogue. Oh yeah, it's not there anymore.
It was given.
Yeah.
It was.
You can see it fast forward, and that's something that you're going to see in Mobius. Like a lot of things that we see in Mobius is actually or the stuff that we see in Cognition is actually stuff that's borrowed from our ideas from Mobius. But anyway, for this particular one, pay attention.
It was given to Rose by the temple priest.
Pay attention to this, at least for now. The book. So we can't really do much with this book right now, but we can at least look over at things and then talk to Rose about it. So let's look at this at least.
What could have happened to him? The children were scared. They were playing with that ball. I wonder what village this is.
So basically right now you want to go ahead and just look around things and then ask Rose about it later.
Rose doesn't remember this. I need to find out what this flag really looks like. They thought he was crazy.
So these are just little visions and snippets of Rose's memory with, being in Trang Bang, and, she doesn't look too good here.
She's so lucky to have survived.
I don't think luck has anything to do with it, my dear.
Did I say that out loud?
I do like that they pull the whole, oh, is the narrator speaking or, speaking to herself or not, so that was kind of nice.
Was Rose using a name other than her own? She doesn't remember it. I need to find out. It got burned as badly as that little girl.
Yeah, pay attention to this too. And actually this. So both of those are things to watch out for.
Rose doesn't remember what he gave her? I need to find out more about this.
I mean, I think this looks a little better than what we did in the Robert regression. You just zoom in, zoom out. It's simpler, but it also looks a little better.
She doesn't remember what she told him?
This speech bubble used to be huge, and so it was kind of comical, this, how big her response was.
They were going to execute him.
Alright. So let's go ahead and talk to Rose for a little while.
Did you ever find out why he said the things he did?
Yes, but I do not wish to think about that. It's too hurtful for me to think about them.
Okay, so temple, this is referring to what was here.
What temple was that?
It's a Cao Dai temple. There are a few of those in Vietnam.
Okay, so that's a certain religion.
The kids were playing with a ball.
Yes, I found that ball later and kept it.
What village was this?
The outskirts of Trang Bang and South Vietnam.
So she also says what village it is. Trang Bang.
What book were you reading, Rose?
Oh, my dear. I don't remember.
Do you remember what the flag of the temple looked like?
I can't remember, my dear.
And you really do have to go down the list. A lot of things won't trigger unless you actually ask her about it.
Why can't you remember your name?
I'm Rose Duvalier, but when I went to Vietnam, they gave us different last names in order to protect us.
So that the enemy couldn't identify your family to blackmail you.
Yes, and I do not remember what that name was. Look in the top left drawer of my desk. Maybe you can find something there to aid you, my dear.
What did he give you, Rose?
Check that shelf over there.
Okay. And by clicking on these, you're actually going to have new hotspots when you get out of here.
What did you tell him, Rose? About what he could do?
Isn't it obvious, my dear?
And
Didn't you try to stop them from executing him?
I tried. I moved heaven and earth trying to find a way to grant him a pardon, but those were not granted easily. I could not save him. Listen, my dear, sometimes the forces of the universe are stronger than our fiercest wishes, and as much as we have to try, there comes the time when we must accept whatever path the universe has prepared for us. I did not know that then, of course. Part of what I learned from Bao Tan was how to stop believing I could change everything and instead just do what I could to comfort him while he still lived. Sometimes, all we can do is simply let go.
alright. I've also noticed that, in the last video I didn't really bring in, a lot of inside stories, which I actually did have, especially for the, when I was in the warehouse, but I just didn't think about it. In any case, these hotspots now show up. I may as well start with this one first, because actually this one is going to help me with one of the first solves that we need to do. Now you see a bunch of books here, and you can try to open them.
The Book of Shuang Su. Nothing in this one, except that it was owned by a Matt Warrener.
if you open this...
The Alchemy of Happiness. Wait, what's this? It's a piece of a picture. This is Rose in Vietnam. But I can't see the whole thing. It's been ripped.
Now, the fact that this, this photo of Rose was actually in this book, The Alchemy of Happiness, is supposed to clue you into that that's the name of the book that Rose was reading. So one thing we can do right now is go ahead and switch that book to the way it should be. The transitions actually are faster too. I mean, a lot of people don't like this particular episode that I'm seeing from the reviews, and I do see some merit to it, but I do hope that they appreciate the technical the technical improvements. Now, right now, you can see that I can't use synergy on this right now, but you can tell that there's a name tag that we can't see. So this is actually going to show Rose's actual name, but we can't see that quite yet. But if we look at here, we can take this ripped photo.
It's only a piece of a photo. Is that Rose?
And you can see yeah, actually this tutorial only shows up when you get both of these. I kind of tried to persuade for it to be only on the first one, but either way, we got the tutorial, and now we can solve this.
Look at her, all smiling and young.
And we can see that her name tag said Bailey, so we can leave that. Now we could go right into there and get her correct name, but actually there's some things that we need to do here. Remember when I said to pay attention to certain things that you saw in the memory? We saw this triangle relic when we were looking at Rose's book, and when we saw Rose on the ground bloody, we also saw this deflated ball that Rose actually said she had, and also this burnt figurine that she got from the dead girl. So you can actually use projection here. So we can just do that. And this actually...
It's beautiful. This must be what Baotan gave Rose.
This is showing the shape of the antique that Baotan gave her. So suddenly a lot of things are solved here. But it's not, it's a little complicated, but it's also, a little... Let's see, this one isn't solved yet. So this regression puzzle is a little more, complex, but it's not complex in the UI sort of way. So it's actually more of a puzzle instead of, just a... so that's the way that's supposed to go. We still need the flag. This one is actually just supposed to be common sense. You could tell from the story, that he could see the future. I guess while I still have, this as a QA thing, I guess, whatever. This whole push thoughts thing is a secret. I shouldn't talk about it, but I just did. But maybe you should think about it, and maybe it might have something to do with something in the future, possibly. But maybe not. In any case, we know that Baotan could see the future. So, what else was there? I know there's the flag. Yeah, I think that's about it. So, when we learned that that was a Caodai temple, you actually have a new web search. Oops, I don't want the hints. Although I may bring this back because I actually did write some of the hints this time. But not in this way. Not in here, actually. In any case, we now have religious imagery. And we see... Rose said that the village was Trang Bang, and that the religion was Cao Dai. So you open this up, instead of what I just did. Oops. Hold on. And you see the flag. It looks exactly like one of the flags that we can change in the image. This... oh boy. So, this is as close, I believe, as it is. I hope that no one thought that this was, you know, wrong, but as far as we know, this is a good summary of Hakaudai. So, no hate mail, hopefully. So we're gonna go get that flag. Which is... oh, I already have it set up. So yeah, that's the flag, so I think I got everything right. Yeah. So you can just solve. Oh yeah, and this is a nice little scene, actually. So as you can see, this is supposed to draw a parallel between Baoten and Cordelia. You know, that Cordelia was able to see the future just like Baoten, but no one was able to believe her. And so, you know, tragedy occurred both to the characters, but also, you know, to the situation at hand. So in this case, you know, Baoten saw the future and was executed as a spy here.
I know what you can do. I know you will do good by those like us. I can see it. You will be an angel among those like us.
Oh, we finally got a voice for that in the last second.
Oh,
I too
Rose.
have failed, my dear, many times. But we must always pick ourselves up and keep on going. I couldn't save Baoten, but to this day I keep his spirit with me.
You could hear him. You can read minds, Rose? You're one of... us?
I can see and hear people's thoughts, my dear. That must be what Cordelia wants you to know.
But why?
I do not know, my dear, but it is certainly something that she has foreseen, and it is undoubtedly part of a plan.
I always figured that, you know, right from the first episode, you were supposed to know that she was a scion, so it always struck me as odd that she explains this here. I thought it was pretty clear that everyone knew that, but in any case.
So Cordelia is like Baoten. She can see the future. And just like him, she was judged for a crime she did not commit.
This is a very powerful kind of scion, Erica. Also a very cursed one. Those who can see the future are plagued by their visions in ways far worse than those like you who can see the past. I tried to help Cordelia, but the events that unfolded around her came too swiftly to be stopped.
Rose, but how come I could see the future?
I've been thinking about that. It is true that every yin has its yang, and when you bring together scions with contrasting but complementary powers, especially a pair still learning to cope with them, uncontrollable things happen and the powers can clash. What you saw was a vision Cordelia had in the past, her vision of the future, but because it had to do with you, it triggered whenever you were close to her.
So, in the parking lot at the station, and again in the hangman crime scene. But then, why didn't I see it when I met her at the cemetery?
You were probably more susceptible to danger in those other occasions. But I don't have all the answers, Erica. What I do know is that this power links you to each other, which is how you connected to her past so easily at the Inthon Towers.
Alright, so there's your explanation on the recurring vision. Because in every case that Erica had that recurring vision of, being shot, Cordelia was close by. Even back to the first time in the crime scene in episode 1, you saw Cordelia pop out of the bushes from the crime scene, and that sort of leads me into something where I was always curious about how certain people actually thought that the killer was John, which made no sense because, the recurring vision, John was there, so it couldn't be John. But in any case...
Why are you so sure that John was in danger?
He confided in me about a few things, and there were other things I read. But it was when you called me from the towers that I made the full connection. What they did to Cordelia after Max's death, it haunted John in ways you cannot imagine.
Do you blame her, Rose?
That is a very hard question to answer. I feel for all the Scions out there, but in this short time, you have known her better than I ever did, probably better than anyone else. The question is, do you blame her?
I don't know how to begin to answer that question, Rose.
And I mean, Erica should feel a little upset because of John's death here, but...
Let me entertain a thought here, Rose. You can read minds, and Cordelia wanted me to know this. Now, I know you keep saying your memory is fuzzy, but I need you to concentrate on what I'm about to ask you.
Go on.
When Cordelia was here, was there anything that you read from her thoughts? Anything special? Anything that seemed to matter to her or that could tell me where she or Kane might be?
That would be a very hard thing to... Wait. When Cordelia's visions would overtake her, I would ask her to focus on a place that would calm her down.
And did you read her?
I'm seeing it in my thoughts right now.
Okay. So there's actually another regression that we're going to start right now. Yeah, just looking at my time.
It's a lake house. This must be where Cordelia wants me to go. But where is this? There has to be something that can guide me here.
Okay, so you can look at,
It's just a matter of time until I put you behind bars. Or take you down myself.
No. Once again, you can just, click through things quickly. See? And I wish I had a better example except the fog, instead of the fog, because normally in conversations, if you click, I just didn't want to skip the actual conversations. But, if you do, so no more non-skippable dialogue, at least for the most part. But that's, anyway, we need to look at...
Who is this person? Wait.
We need to look at Skorobeus.
It's Skorobeus. He can tell me where this place is. Last I heard, they were holding him down at the station. Time to pay a visit.
Ah, what fun this will be.
I think I have all I need. Thank you, Rose.
Erica, wait. I have not quite told you everything.
Really? I had a feeling.
I live up to Baltan's last words. I look for Scions and I help them deal with their abilities through training or whatever means necessary. I've taken it upon myself to offer Scion salvation. We need to protect our kind. There is much for you to learn about what I do, what we do. But right now, you need to promise me that you will do your best to handle Cordelia. I know that you will use your best judgment with her.
I don't know if right now is the best time to...
This is not an invitation to join us. This is just me trusting you fully. There are others like you, others that have been watching you for some time. Your coming here was not an accident. Know that whatever happens, in here, you will always have a home.
Thank you, Rose.
So that's clearly a setup for a possible sequel.
Your badge and your gun, Reed.
See you, Madamushka. Oh,
Now
shoot.
leave.
I called her Rose.
Take a
I called her
vacation.
Madamushka instead of
And I want you
Rose.
to go through counseling
come
before
on.
even thinking of coming back.
I had
That
to.
clear?
I had to.
You finally found a way to do it.
Her name is Madamushka.
You've wanted to do this since I went against you the night that Scott died. You must be happy now.
No, Reed, I'm not. But after what happened with John at the
But for
Anton
those who
Towers,
have watched
there's
my
no other choice.
videos, you know,
You need to be off this case. and
voodoo
away from
ladies
this
with
office.
crystal balls,
But
I
not
call them
before I
Madamushka.
debrief you. I want to know everything that went down in there.
A lot of people
Did you
complained
bring
about
Skorobeus
this
in?
particular
Yes, he's in one of the
section,
interrogation cells. Leave it be, Reed. Collect your things from your desk, and I'll be out in a few minutes for the debrief.
including
All
myself,
right.
really.
I'll be waiting.
People thought that this particular transition was
But
disjointed.
first, I'd like to make a pit stop.
You know, there's no transition between here and going from the antique shop to coming here. Now, I'd like to remind again that, you know, when we started this project, this particular kind of video would probably be a little out of our range, but we improve.
Miss Reed, what a surprise. Weren't you suspended?
I don't have time for your cryptic bullshit right now. I need information, and you're gonna give it to me.
You seem very sure about that.
So yep, that's the last time we're going to see Madamushka. At least in this game. Okay, so here we're trying to get information on Skorobeus. Actually, oh, I wrote the hint. There's only one hint for this particular section, so I'm gonna show it because I wrote it. Here we go. So, all right. We need to get information out of him. Now, if we try talking to him, you're gonna see the trust meter
Where
go
is
down.
Cordelia?
I thought you'd know the answer to that by now.
I don't have time for your games.
Neither do I, Agent Reed, and I recommend you leave now if you do not wish to get into any further trouble.
Now, this is a situation where you actually cannot raise his trust, no matter how much you want to
You knew
or
about
don't want
Keith
to.
all-
Do you think I'd tell you if I knew?
Yeah, did you see how everything just flew by? It makes it so things don't break. Like, for example, if in the past, if you were to skip through certain conversations like that, the animations might just fly out of everywhere.
Please.
And I don't.
You know, like if I did this again.
You knew
Do you?
Yeah. When his arms just flew out, normally if you just if you click through the conversation there was a really, really, really high chance that things would just break. You know, his arm would be out over here, his head would be spinning, his, you know, just crap like that. But now we just have a situation where we can just fast forward through the whole thing, and that saves a lot of grief. In any case, what we need to do is, if he's gonna stall for time, maybe we can get the information out of him this way.
Keep your hands off me.
Well, it's not going to be that easy.
You knew.
Do you think?
But now that we're, you know, in a situation where we really have no other option, we can now push him against the wall.
What are you doing? Help! Someone help me!
There's no one here right now to save your pompous ass. I need you to tell me where Keith and Cordelia are.
Go to hell!
Now, there's two ways to get the information here. You can actually just go ahead and exit the conversation and, you know, just use regression now that Erica's touching him. But you know me.
Answer me!
I told you I don't know! Get your goddamn hands off me!
Oh, and the next two lines from Skorobeus, I had to take some time on how to write what he's about to say because it's nonsensical. So I'm like, oh, okay, how do you spell this?
Talk!
Agent Reed, I don't know how much more of this I can take.
He looks about to pass out.
So yeah, this is how I decided to spell what he's about to say.
Tell me what I need to know. Fuck. What the hell did you do, Erica? Now what?
Oh well, good enough. But now that also, you can see he's not moving. We didn't have you know, like an idle animation of him just kind of, you know, being like that, so he just doesn't move. So you actually don't see him again after this. So you can actually think he's dead if you really want to. He's not dead, but you can imagine he's dead. It doesn't matter, we don't see him again after this, but one thing we need to do here is use regression.
Max!
He was there. He could have stopped it. The bastard. There's another memory here.
I found Keith. I need you to help me.
Where exactly?
The lake house in Rockport.
Let me see. 1246 Pleasant Brook Lane. That one? Is he still alive?
Of course he is. He just killed the brother of that agent. Please, hurry.
So
I have to get there.
What the hell have you done, Agent Reed? Agent Holmberg, stop her!
okay, here's the story. Originally this was oh shoot, I shouldn't even say that because it spoils something down the line, but this model used to be someone else that we see very late in the game. Now, one thing to say, well, never mind. Let's just go ahead. Now, if we pick any of these, we get arrested. So let's not do that. Let's just push.
Sorry, Petter. What kind of shit are you getting into, Erica?
Yes, we are the fugitive, and also since we choked him, we get asphyxia. If you got it otherwise, you would not have gotten that. You would have gotten a different achievement.
We used to come here every summer when Mom and Dad were alive. Things were much simpler back then.
Don't take another step. You tricked me. My visions? John!
The future is a very fickle thing, Erica. What we see is sometimes only one of many possibilities. I saved us both. Had I been in the Enthon Towers with you, one of us would have ended up dead. So I left the towers before that could happen. But fate has a funny way of correcting itself. Someone still needed to be shot.
You led John and me to the towers. You're responsible for what happened to him.
No, Erica. You didn't do what you were supposed to. You were supposed to kill Keith when you found him. You should have used your powers on him and you would have seen it all. But you didn't, Erica. You made a sloppy mistake. The kind of mistake that cost Davies her life.
That's what you wanted me to do? Kill Keith? That's what this was all about. If you wanted this to end so badly, why didn't you kill him yourself?
Killing one of my brothers was enough for me, Erica. People like us are cursed. We can't lead simple lives.
Don't you dare compare me to you. You're a scumbag murderer. You killed Davies. You almost killed Sully and...
What makes us any different? Tell me you don't want to pull that trigger right now.
Give me one damn good reason not to.
Very well, take this. I found it down in the basement. Use your power on it. Do it.
Alright. Oh yeah, I forgot how unintentionally silly this is.
He's taken someone, but I can't see who.
Me either. But we can work together to stop this, Erica. We can save that person together. So, what's it going to be?
I don't trust you.
If it helps, this might help me get closer to my goal. I want McAdams.
You really are crazy if you think I'll let you hurt anyone else.
We can talk about that later. Follow me. The clock's ticking.
So yeah, someone's got kidnapped. But no, it's and I think it was changed a little bit, so it's not as silly that video you just saw. But you know, it used to be really long, like Keith just
He was
jiggling.
Do you smell the burning wood?
And getting closer and
That
closer
smell.
to that person.
He and Mom would sit by the fireplace for hours just listening to the embers crackling. Keith would watch them from the corner of his eye, pretending to be reading over on that sofa. I can see how there was something troubled in him even then, as if the world he saw wasn't the same one the rest of us lived in.
You could have prevented all of this suffering and death if you had just come clean in the first place. But instead you used me. Why, Cordelia? Why did you choose me?
Because I saw you, in those visions at the towers. You were there, trying to help me when everyone else just crossed their arms and let Max die. You're a rebel, Erica. You were hurt enough by the death of your brother that you could be driven to killing Keith. It was the only way. But for that, you needed to be vulnerable. I saw it.
And so you hurt everyone close to me, manipulated my life for your needs? Ugh. We're wasting time. Let's continue this search.
Alright, let's see. Let's do a little looking around, but we're going to be coming up on the... one of the... I guess if you were to... I guess one way to say it is that we're going to be coming up on the final exam of puzzles for this particular game down in this basement. But before we do that, I'm going to go ahead and... Oh, by the way, I should mention that you can actually switch between the characters right now. So I can actually, you know, move as Cordelia or Erica at this time. But for most of the time, you still want to continue controlling Erica. So one thing you wanted to go ahead and do right now is open this, and
This could come in handy.
take that cup, this
Could come in
razor,
handy.
and this magnifying
Nothing like
glass.
stock in your own crime scene kit with everyday household items.
And while you're here, you may as well fill this glass with water from the sink. Okay. Let's see, anything interesting to look at? Not really. Well, let's go ahead and go to the basement.
Kane's lair. This is the first trap. The George siblings in the old factory. And this one. Joe and Cameron, when he started using tombs. Janelle and Robert, he planned it all here. Scott?
He never lets them live. There's always a backup plan, ever since me and Max. You're the only one who ever got away from him.
Cordelia, what was done to you was unspeakable. More than probably anyone else, I understand. But what you've done is wrong.
Don't pretend you know me just because you've seen my past. What Keith did was wrong. I am not like Keith. I did good, Erica. Someone had to stop Anthony and Joey. I saved others. They will never kill again.
Okay. So, we're going to be starting building or losing trust with Cordelia. And I'm going to go ahead and lose her trust. So, let's go with
Killing
this.
them wasn't your job. But why Davies? Why Sully? They were doing their jobs.
No, they weren't. They didn't listen. The night I took Joey, he was headed to Melissa's apartment. I tried to warn Sully, but he didn't listen.
Melissa? If you hadn't sent your warning as a cryptic message, he would have done something about it. I know Sully.
But what did you want me to do? Tell him I could see the future? I already tried that, remember? Didn't go too well.
You're still wrong, Cordelia. You're pretending that this is all about poetic justice, but deep inside, this is just an excuse to get your revenge. That's why you want McAdams.
Now I can talk about their these two women's personality right now, but let's see. I'm probably going to be ending this soon because this room is very, very, very complicated, and I do like the way that it's set up. But before I end, I should at least introduce a couple things. This is the trap that Scott was on in episode 1.
Scotty. I wish I could have found this then.
And all of these traps you should be at least a little familiar with before you continue on this room.
Janelle's trap.
And you're going to see more about these traps. If you read the e-comic for this game, which I think actually is available with the Steam version actually, you can read about some of these traps. Not all of them, but some of them.
He killed Joe Hollowell in one of these. There's something different about it. This was the one for the George siblings. They held each other's hands as they were killed.
I think this one was actually in the comic. I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure it was. So these 4 traps are going to be very important for the near future. But for now, I'm going to be ending the video, and I hope that you guys have enjoyed watching, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.